Yesterday, we're all in this chamber. And Mr. Speaker, you had reason to admonish all of us to take our duties as members of Parliament seriously. Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Minority Chief Whip alluded to that, and indeed, it's been widely covered by the media. The Speaker even went to the extent of publishing the names of 28 people who have missed Parliament for a certain number of days. Mr. Speaker, I think it's important for us to make two fundamental points. The first one, Mr. Speaker, the composition of this Parliament is a very special one, and it's never happened in the history of our country before. Mr. Speaker, we have for the first time in the Fourth Republic a Parliament where a particular group has a super majority. Mr. Speaker, they have two-thirds. Two-thirds. It's never happened in the Fourth Republican dispensation before. Two-thirds. Mr. Speaker, of the 276 members of Parliament, the majority side, the NDC side, has 189 members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, you are as old as this Parliament, as this legislature. Mr. Speaker, it's never happened before. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, this house mostly deals with government business. And that is why the majority leader is mostly referred to as the leader of government business. Mr. Speaker, and throughout this session of Parliament, the first meeting, the second meeting, and the third meeting, our friends from the other side, 189 of them, consistently, they do not attend to the House. They do not. Ghanaians, Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians, in fact, Mr. Speaker, the NDC side, the majority side, can one form quorum on their own, Mr. Speaker? Can two have enough members of Parliament to conduct business? Mr. Speaker, three, they can have enough members of Parliament to take most fundamental decisions, and yet they don't come to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I have in my hand here the order paper for 30th October 2025. And Mr. Speaker, in this order paper, you have very important government businesses listed to be taken today, the 30th October 2020. Government business, so many of them. And Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, let me point out some of them. Mr. Speaker, papers are to be laid. The scholarship scheme of our country, where students, the welfare of students is to be discussed here in this house. Government business. And yet they don't come to Parliament. 189 of them, super majority, two-thirds of Parliament. They say we are micro-minority. Numbers, quantities, Mr. Speaker, and yet they cannot carry government business through. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by submitting. The Ghanaian people killed. The Ghanaian people stood in the sun on December 7th. The Ghanaian people gave them an extraordinary mandate. The Ghanaian people gave them 189 members of Parliament because they want President Mohammed's business and agenda to go through this house without any hindrance. And yet, they cannot produce 90 of the 189 of them to form quorum for us to proceed to conduct business in this house. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, this majority, this 189 of them, the quantity, I want to conclude by saying this is an absent super majority, an absent 189 majority. They can do better, and they should feel embarrassed, not us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame? As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Me and you go be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Senya God the boom. If you put it toye, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, Mommy, simple direction. Mr. Good Luck no check me way.
Yeah, man. Easy car. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic!
And he followed the prompt. Yes, and then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, be your family permanent. Before December, may release a motivational album. Fatapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Edi asema menya oden o tiantie mu amanfo ada wo hye me boso obeto phone na mame me phone na say dada menya oden
Them was surprised man.
Surprise ben.
Surprise.
Hey, Kofi papa e phone o iPhone 13 nanya ne
And there, me fanko for me mienu. Amu ko circle. Ene ba ko ne ka chena dan for hour. Ono ode ni Ghana card e call EBA phone so a otua 40% pen e di phone man no a da aka no betua ne kakra. Timothy ya me drop na me so me call ho ana me kwanya wo phone de brɛ no.
Oh, Kofi papa me da se. I'm sure.
Wo EBA phones hadie yeton iPhones ne ho akade nyina ye sanso de ma wholesale so ye dealer na so pedodo atua anase afi na wo hye iPhone business na se a braya se ye hwehwe ye chira kwan e wa Accra Circle Mall any tiptoe lane modern photos in chain American Monso ye ni odor rice ene edi nhwenim Kumase ye wedum ejekuma brunsan nim obetumi so hu ye e wo www.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tontum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friendly once now. Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain was key to double the action. Me didn't sasso spray. Mr. Friendly sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model, securing your safety, creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Oh, Jose, and I made the SMS. Cannon Pano, Nasana, Mushiana, what me. A drain I didn't quano, Kingdom Garlic Bitters. No, more benefit. Me benefit wine. Also, what told dear? Abrewa, the smile, I brent me chuve. One antique crown our bread. No Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and any capsules. Nanya, what ya brebia.
Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and the capsules. Assembia you a devil when ama when I say send your name wife complain one personal Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules and tea. Say see mpaswa dead.
Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules. Emeni chienya sumdie befi abrebia. Obebia o de poa haw no. Edro ba kupa wo hia ne tremendous capsules. Tremendous capsules esiesie wo ma wo ye obesima. Enro yi wo benya bi wo bebia yeton nro bia. Kingdom Herbal, no challenger.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Trotro from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky, everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, a simple direction. Mr. Good Luck no me way.
Yeah, man. Easy qua. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic!
And he followed the prompts. Yes, and then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family Pemasimeno? Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calkits. Happy smile.
This is Bishop Ene Takia Boy, inviting all Victory Bible Church members and friends and family. I want you to understand that God has been so good to us for 40 years. 40 years of Jesus is our victory. So don't forget that we are all expected, we are all required. We must all gather from 27th and then 28th, 29th, 30th. But don't forget that 31st, which is Friday in the evening, we are all marching to Independence Square. Then on the 2nd, we are having our grand finale celebration of our 40th anniversary at Independence Square. Right from the morning, don't forget, right from the morning, this God who is faithful, this God who brought his son Jesus to die for us, this God has been so great. God bless you. I will expect you, and I know you will be there. God richly bless you.
Yanti Kroma no tono church on some 4 letters. Time no church letters na kanu furiata ukurum ha. So what power side and one chicken furiata. Na na church letters.
Tell you on nato ayi.
Kanu furiata on man ne on match na read my lips. He will not come.
On bagana be man as.
Na wan ka beba. Wo na kwa me wutu we ye kanu furiata ntin beba. Ha?
Sir.
Dabi wa kanu kwa chira wo ho. Sir wutu we pa we ye kanu furiata. Ena nyame aye wadom. Ena OSP or MPP ni ono wadin hwamtoma me mo nya otie didim film ena wo kro no wo beba
ojidi se OSP nini ama na ode ye kenovat deliberate
boss hwe politics na wo krum ha no ho
na plan
please asema na okay asema na ye kan wo krum ha
ojidi se na planting
chief say nya planting na ablada pa ye ndai Office of the Special Prosecutor in some men of Papaya Mekan Facility Abranda Pound. Want to be Emma Mimi Somubi, Obia Somubi, ye Chabnada Pow, Ada Pow Krum Hassan, OSP or yes, Abranda Party.
The case, you know, Uncle. Yeah,
because OSP or MPP, Abranda Pie MPP. Well, Kota Waka Kotoma Mujabada.
But say
Nana Kwame who kota waka koto ema moja bada.
Na say
Nana Kwame who koto a waka koto ema moja abada.
Ebi wankaniye.
Nana Kwame who bida koto se waka koto
ebi wankaniye.
Who bida.
Ebi wontumi ankaniye.
Who bida.
Capito.
Nana Kwame who bida.
OSP office.
In fact one say.
Yeah. Antinami do crab first.
Waste. Yeah. Office of the Special Prosecutor. Nedman say.
Special Prosecutor.
What prosecutor way?
Oh, so by ye, was my ye money be a come.
From 2018. Besine, when the OSP, I mean, I didn't have to say we're going to scar. Bob Akuma, and I'm sorry for Yanko.
What's my discar crab?
Nana Kwame, Mr. Wine, you didn't have to.
Good evening. What a day we've had in news today. Tonight, you can't miss the program because I have some very hot gossip from you. Just as press time, we got real information about what is happening in the NDC political contest. Some of the NDC elders don't like us talking about that. But tonight, we have big stories for you. There are two ministers who are fighting. Minister for Foreign Affairs and Minister for Education are in a hot battle. We're going to give you the gist on what is happening. It relates to a presidential flag bearership, and there's a new entrant who is President Mohammed's choice. We are going to tell you all about that. And that new entrant, who is President Mohammed's choice, also already has a running mate that is also President Mohammed's choice. So President Mohammed for the NDC inheritance ticket is now set. And we'll share that with you tonight as part of our program. Also, we'll look at Afenyo Markin's motion before the speaker. Alexander Afenyo Markin, the minority leader, is asking Speaker Bagbin to hold on to the vetting of Mr. Justice Bafo Boni, who has been nominated by the President for the position of Chief Justice until all the matters before the court, High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court involving the Justice Tokonu matters are completely and finally resolved against Justice Tokonu. It's only then, according to the minority leader, that we'll know that we don't have a pending Chief Justice, as it were, but we will have a former Chief Justice. He says that because no one knows the end of the litigation, we cannot assume that Justice Tokonu will lose all of those cases. And so he's put a motion before the Speaker, who will discuss the motion on the touchscreen, the pros and cons, and potentially how the Speaker could or may be ruling on Afenyo Markin's motion. Very interesting development in democracy. Also tonight, we have a video for you from a past vetting of the appointment committee. This one was the vetting of Dr. Tony Edu. It was one of the most difficult vetting situations that Parliament has faced. It occurred sometime early in the year 2000 or late 1999. Dr. Tony Edu was a long associate of Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, and Mrs. Rawlings had been nominated by the President, J.J. Rawlings, as the Deputy Minister for Defense. He appeared before the appointments committee. He had been a thorn in the flesh of the NPP since the 1992 campaign and electioneering and political process. And so he appeared before the appointment committee ready. And we are delighted to play this video whilst Tony Edu is still alive. And you'll see what's in the video is coming up tonight. Also, controversy about the LGBT conversation is getting very interesting. Lawyer Moses Foremoinin appeared on Joy FM's PM Express yesterday. He spoke exceptionally well. He's promised to give us an interview next week on LGBT and other matters. But in Parliament, the majority leader, the leader of the House, says that the bill is ready and it can be shifted to the President. The Speaker thinks that the bill is dead. It has to start again. We'll look at the provisions of Article 106 of the 1992 Constitution and what it says, and then we'll deal with it. But the most important matter is the gossip on the NDC presidential contest. I'd like to begin, though, with a message that has just come through on my phone. And it reads as follows. It says, tonight, this night, 30th October 2025, King Charles of England has stripped former Prince Andrew of all his royal titles. He is to lose all royal homes and pegs. The king has done this to his blood relative because, as it is, the law is the law. If you do the wrong thing and the long tentacles of the law catches up with you, you pay the price. So he's writing to President Mahama. So, Mr. President Mahama, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Jenano Pokwajiman, he says, Attorney General Honorable Dominic Ayini, if anyone has crossed the line in all the wrong ways, do not go soft on them. Anyone, even a friend or a sibling, let them face the harsh realities of the law. This is how to run a country. And that's a piece on social media that should stay on our minds. We'll be continuing with that. As an NDC sympathizer is asking President Mahama to do the right thing. Anyway, the Office of the Special Prosecutor held a press conference today in which he said that he's prosecuting 5 persons, including the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, the former Minister of Finance, and he's prosecuting them for some matter relating to SML. The persons that are to be prosecuted by the OSP include the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, and then do you have the list of the honorable persons? That is the Honorable Steve Akori, who was said to be the chef de cabinet of the minister, almost like a high-profile personal assistant of the minister. The other person is the Honorable Kofi Nti, on your screen over there, the famous director of the GRA, Commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Also, one of my favorite people, the Reverend Ami Shaddai. I had his interview on Joy many years ago. I just loved him. Reverend Ami Shaddai Owusu-Amoah is also a former commissioner. He replaced the Honorable Kofi Nti to be prosecuted as well by the OSP, as announced by him today. And also Mr. Isaac Krenzel, who is a former commissioner for Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority and the current general manager of the SML. And also the military officer member of parliament, the Leonard Colonel Kojo Damoa, is a former commissioner for Customs Division, and he's also the Member of Parliament for German South for the New Patriotic Party. Colonel Damoah is also a former colonel of the Ghana Armed Forces. Now, the OSP press conference was interesting to journalists and something that he said about his relationship with the Attorney General. There's been news around about after Serem Sai, the Deputy Attorney General, granted an interview to GH1, I believe, where he talked about frustrations of the Attorney General's office. Samuel Darko of the OSP's office responded and said there was no problem. Today, the OSP gave better insight into his relationship with the Attorney General. Have a listen to this video.
Many of you do not know my relationship with the Attorney General. He is like a big brother to me. He taught me at Legon, and he also was part of my training. Indeed, we formed a firm together. And indeed, I was like his foreman even when he was putting up his first building in Accra. This is our relationship. The relationship is such that because he trained me and he taught me, I have a bit of him in me. He doesn't have a bit of me in him. And so sometimes my display of his bit in me stirs him up a bit. But at the end of the day, just as we were doing in private practice, we will bicker at home. But our product, when we finally churn it out, will be most robust and most fruitful. And this is our promise to Ghana.
What journalists got very interested in is the description of the relationship in terms of building houses. The special prosecutor said that he was almost like a foreman. Somebody must be a very good friend, very, very good friend for you to let him build, to lead the building of your house. But the special prosecutor said in building his first house, how many houses does the Attorney General have? I don't know. But the Attorney General has been practicing law for a long time. And so, but the special prosecutor gave that away. He said that he was a foreman in building his first house. I don't know whether it's the first and only, or it's the first of 5, first of 6, first of 10. I'm not sure about that. Perhaps next time Leonard Dominic Ayini is holding a press conference, which could be anytime soon, I'm sure the journalist can ask him that the special prosecutor has indicated that he has a very good relationship with you, that in fact, when you were building your first house, he was the foreman. And so, Leonard Attorney General, you are now on house number what? Because the special prosecutor said first house. Anyway, somebody is texting me that play that video again. I missed that. Did he really talk about being foreman? Then they must be very close. Oh yes, of course. I think they are very close, and I think that it was important that the special prosecutor said that out to the media to understand that there's no real fight. Lawyers can have disagreements, but it doesn't mean that they are fighting. It doesn't mean that. Listen to the video again. Have a look at it.
Many of you do not know my relationship with the Attorney General. He is like a big brother to me. He taught me at Legon, and he also was part of my training. Indeed, we formed a firm together. And indeed, I was like his foreman even when he was putting up his first building in Accra. This is our relationship. The relationship is such that because he trained me and he taught me, I have a bit of him in me. He doesn't have a bit of me in him. And so sometimes my display of his bit in me stirs him up a bit. But at the end of the day, just as we were doing in private practice, we will bicker at home. But our product, when we finally churn it out, will be most robust and most fruitful. And this is our promise to Ghana.
That sounds very interesting, doesn't it? Tonight we have a lot more coming. So I'm going to go now back in time to 2001 and show you some videos. Today is a History Thursday, and show you some videos of the past, and then I'll discuss the NDC matter. The race for the NDC leadership is getting very interesting, even as the MPP gathers itself on 31st January to deal with the the choice between Mahamudu Bawumia, Kennedy Ohene Japan, Brian Achampong, Dr. Osei Aweduchum, Kwabena Eje Japan, all of them are presenting themselves and are campaigning, crisscrossing the country. Kennedy Japan currently is in the northern region. Dr. Bawumia is in the Bono Ahafo, Bono East and Ahafo regions. Kwabena Japan is in Greater Accra. Brian Achampong was in Greater Accra, but I'm not sure where he's going to now. But you should visit Brian Achampong's place in Nkoko, and you'll be super impressed with what he has achieved over there. So that race is on and it's ending on 31st January. It might continue into 15th February if they have to go for a second round. Many supporters of the frontliners are hoping that they can win a first round and there'll be no need for a second round. But we'll wait to see what happens. But as President Mahama is no longer eligible to contest for the presidency, the heat is building up in the National Democratic Congress tonight. We have fresh news for you as to who and which ticket is the president backing. No president, when he's exiting, does not back any ticket. He certainly will back one ticket. Akufo-Addo backed the Bawumia ticket in 2023. No matter how you say it, it was very obvious. John Agyekum Kufuor backed the Alan Kyerematen ticket in 2007. No matter how you say it, it was very obvious. A lot of it captured in our book, and the book is still on sale. Please get me the book video. We'll pass it through for people to see it. Both the local one and then the Amazon one. So yes, John Agyekum Kufuor backed Alan Kyerematen in 2007. In 2000, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings didn't miss West. He was very clear in backing Professor J.E.A. Mills. In America, in 2000, Bill Clinton backed his Vice President Al Gore, and it was very obvious. So President Mahama is going to back someone, and tonight we know who he's backing. We're going to tell you that in a minute. Now, though, let me take you to Parliament in 2001. Now, this was a parliamentary sitting of the presidential sessional address delivered by John Agyekum Kufuor. Unfortunately, not to remind the families of pain, some of the people you see have passed on to eternal glory. May they rest in peace until we meet again on the final day of the resurrection. But for historical purposes, I'd like to tease you a little bit with this. Thursdays, we're going to be showing a lot of political history so that we can catch up. Those of us who are young, we can catch up with the history, and then we can together look at the future. Here is Peter Ala Adjete, presiding over Parliament, in which our current speaker, Alban Bagbin, was the minority leader. Have a look at a 3-minute video and come back.
And it will be the turn of
Honorable Leader of the House,
the Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for presiding over the proceedings so successfully.
Majority Leader is to make a statement.
To adjourn at this stage. With your permission, could I move that the House do not adjourn till 10 o'clock in the forenoon tomorrow morning? Thank you.
Mr. J.H. Mensah, Minister and Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion, but we want to add that we would have preferred that an indication is given as to when the debate will commence.
So we are ready. Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Order. Honorable.
We are ready to commence now.
Shame. Honorable members, as I indicated, today is a purely ceremonial occasion. So today is not part of our normal business operation. We want the debate now. I'd like to hear from you, from the Leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. On a similar occasion, when we wanted to debate immediately the address of His Excellency President Jerry Rawlings, my friends opposite demurred and asked for time. Mr. Speaker, we indeed are quite ready to debate because we know the content of the message, but they don't. And
positive change.
We will, Mr. Speaker, we will give them time to receive the text of the President's message and study it carefully, and then we can start the debate perhaps on Tuesday. The Business Committee will determine the matter when it meets tomorrow morning at 9:30 in my office. Thank you very much.
That was the Majority Leader, J.H. Mensah.
Very well. So be it. Leader of the House.
The Speaker's statement.
Has he moved? Has he moved for adjournment? Honorable members, the question is that this House do now adjourn to tomorrow at 10 in the morning. As many as in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
So, the Speaker...
The ayes have it.
Announcing the adjournment of the House to the following day.
To tomorrow morning at 10.
And they will convene tomorrow.
We call for a division.
10 a.m. after listening to
the Parliament of yesteryear. The Right Honorable Peter Alajete thought that the ayes have it. What did you think, viewers? Did the ayes have it? Okay, now let me get to a more controversial video just before I come to discuss what we are hearing tonight about the new NDC ticket, which is being backed by His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama. Now, this was a big occasion in Parliament years ago, okay, and it's all captured in our book. Can you give me a copy of the book? Let me be showing it around when I'm talking about it. So Dr. Tony Edu, and I'm trying to capture in today's context who you might see as a Tony Edu, maybe Sami Jemfi, yeah, something like that. So Dr. Tony Edu was a very vociferous speaker for J.J. Rawlings, very personally loyal to Fly Lieutenant Rawlings, loyal to the NDC, and considered the MPP as a sort of anathema of politics, something like that. He actually considered the MPP's antecedents in UP and NLM because, according to him, he grew up in Kumasi. He's still alive. You can check with him. According to him, he grew up in Kumasi and he saw what he called the barbaric politics of the NLM tradition. And so he was very much against that tradition. And he became a lecturer of political science in the University of Cape Coast and sociology. And in his lecture halls, he will talk about the evils of the NLM and all of that. He was a very good friend of mine. I will go to his house and we share political conversations. Now, Dr. Tony Edu was not a minister at the time. He was managing, he was very big in NDC congresses, especially those congresses that didn't elect where they were doing policy discussions. He was very big on policy. Then one day, Fly Lieutenant Rawlings nominated him to be a deputy minister. Not at the regular time ministers are nominated, not at the beginning of the government. Sometime in the middle of the government, he was nominated to be a deputy minister. I think that Rawlings had not filled the position of deputy minister of defense. But he wanted Tony Edu in the government somehow, and it was very, very close to him. So the announcement came that Tony Edu was going to appear before Parliament. It was a big conversation because how was he going to appear before the appointment committee, which included J.H. Mensah, whom he had a lot of brow-beating, shouting match with, Nana Akufo-Addo, who he didn't like, all of the MPP people were in the appointment committee, and Tony Edu was going to appear before them. It was a spectacle to observe, and the whole media gallery was full. Everyone was ready when Tony Edu appeared. And the most important question was, how was Tony Edu going to manage position of a minister? And the Honorable Ken Jirasa, who is an NDC, I think Ken Jirasa is still alive. He was a member of parliament for Ayawaso West Wogan back in the day. Before I think he went to the Volta region. Ken Jirasa was the chairman of the committee. Actually put the question to him that people say that you are quick-tempered. How are you going to manage it? But then the big question came when he was asked, why did you describe the minority leader, J.H. Mensah, as Wabodam? And Tony Edu would always describe J.H. Mensah as J.H. Wabodam, J.H. Wabodam. And it was very irksome to many MPP people. And they really disliked Tony Edu for that. Here is a snapshot of what happened 25 years ago in the Appointments Committee hearing with Dr. Tony Edu. Have a look.
I have been brought up to tell the truth and to stand up for the truth. If somebody is telling
That
lies,
was Dr. Tony
and I
Ado
have
giving
the
an
opportunity,
opinion about himself.
and God has so
For
blessed
over 1
me
hour, the
with at
Deputy
least a
Minister of
modicum of
Defense
intelligence
designate
to
answered
discover
questions
the
from members of the
lies
Select
and the
Committee.
ability to debunk
These
the
include an allegation that he is rude and ill-tempered, the problems he is likely to encounter as a Deputy Minister of Defense, and why he left the employment of the University of Cape Coast.
You have been virtually described as a man with ungovernable temper. Now, where you have been designated to occupy is a very sensitive institution or ministry. Now, how do you see yourself marrying what is perceived of you with the office that you are going to take now?
what I have are certain principles which guide my conduct. One of the principles is my commitment to the defense of justice and therefore the fight against injustice. I also like to see disciplined conduct, in which case any moment or situation in which I find a person, it doesn't matter where he's coming from, being subjected to injustice, I feel that it is my natural duty and also my civic responsibility to defend that person against injustice. If in so doing, I am seen and presented falsely by the press as somebody with an ungovernable temper, that is not the case, and it is unfortunate.
You call somebody Wabodam. Now, in your own thinking, you think it's a distant language?
I recall I have qualified somebody's name with the word Wabodam to draw his attention to the fact that he used that word, that unacceptable word which you are just saying, and you admit that it's unacceptable. It's indecorous language. We heard, the whole of this country heard and saw Mr. J.H. Mensah, minority leader in our August House, use that unacceptable word, the word you said is unacceptable, to describe the constitutional advisory opinion of the Council of State. We heard him call the members and the Council of State Wabodam. There has been no evidence of remorse or any attempt by Mr. J.H. Mensah to actually apologize to the Council of State, who in the course of fulfilling their constitutional functions only gave an opinion. If in using that word you say I'm indecorous, then I welcome it.
Do you like that? That was Tony Ado. Those of you who don't know much about him, you're just seeing him in the recent videos and the recent interview of Joy FM. That's how feisty Tony Ado was. That video will be on social media. You can see we're putting up, this afternoon we'll be working on getting all of these small videos so that every Thursday we can show you some political history of Ghana, whilst we also have captured a lot of them in text in our book. And you can get it, you can get it from the University of Ghana bookshop in Accra, and from the University Bookshop in Kumasi. I understand that people, this evening when I came to the office, I was delighted. A young man was sitting here. He's bought a lot of the books. He brought it to me to autograph. He had a long list of other people's names. I wrote and I did it. Caleb Niboy, if you are watching us from UK, your book has been autographed. I understand that somebody is bringing it to you in London next week. When I'm coming to London, which will be very soon, I'll let you know and then we can catch up. And thank you for all those who have patronized the book. It's entitled Africa's New Constitutional Development, the 77 Stories That Defined Ghana's Fourth Republic. Okay, let's see the video, short video to advertise the book, and then we'll come back and tell you the NDC story. The video is ready. Can we see it? Welcome back to the show. And now this is our first big story today. So I got a phone call from somebody, as usual, my NDC friends. He called and said, Adam, you there? I say, yeah, they. How the opposition? You there so far? And I laughed it off. And he asked of a common friend of mine. We call him Bobo Dilasso. He said, how be Bobo? I said, Bobo is in London. He said, oh, okay. But when you go London, I said, oh, so sometimes you buy me tickets. He said, make I buy you tickets. I could don't go buy you tickets. And then we all laughed. Then he got onto the information and gave me the filler. It's very, very interesting. So, I can now say that the NDC race to replace, and let's start recording from here. I can now say that the NDC race to replace President Mahama is getting very, very interesting. And I am beginning to pick my favorites as well. The latest ticket, am I going to get it? Put it on. The latest ticket is this one. This is President Mahama's ticket from what we are hearing. Kesela Tuforsen, the finance minister. So when he comes to present the budget next week, 2 weeks from now, watch his body language. He's been told that if he's able to continue to do what he's doing until the end of next year, he will be the anointed inheritance holder of the President Mahama NDC leadership legacy. Who is going to be his running mate? The other favorite of John Dramani Mahama, our good friend John Jinapor, Member of Parliament and Minister for Energy. The two ways that the NDC would like to say they've been doing well in government so far, one of them will be energy and the other will be finance. In finance, there's disputed opinion about recently the government didn't get a threshold on the treasury bill, local treasury bill market, and some opponents of the government were saying there's an indication that there's no confidence, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you say, Atuforsen will tell you that the CD was 17, it is 10, it's a feather in his cap. Atuforsen will tell you that gold reserves have gone here, it's a feather in his cap. Atuforsen will tell you that petroleum prices have been stabilized, it's a feather in his cap. Don't ask him about the price of kenke. Don't ask him about the price of bread. Don't ask him about the price of biscuits. He doesn't know. But he has major macro indicators to point out to you that he's done well. And the analyzing institutions, Fitch and all of these people are giving Ghana B+ and all of that. So yes, Kesela Atuforsen is firmly focused on becoming the leader of the NDC, the presidential candidate of the NDC going forward to the 2028 election. And his running mate is John Abdullahi Jinapor. He's a Christian from Gonja. He's a member of parliament, minister for energy, former deputy minister for energy, now minister for energy, former spokesperson of Vice President John Dramani Mahama. So you know they have an excellent and very close relationship. They call him JJ in parliament, and he's the deal. The two of them are the president's ticket. Forget about everything else. This is the president's ticket. Atuforsen number 1 and John Jinapor number 2. Let's roll on to some of the other new tickets that are coming into the NDC conversation. What's next for us? Let's move on to the next one. No, I know this one. This one people know. Let's move to the next one. I'll come back to this in a minute. Now, I'll still come back to this in a minute. The other one. Yes. This is the other one. So there's a growing conversation among NDC cadres. I don't know where the cadres still stand in the NDC conversation. 25 years ago, the cadres were very strong. But over the last 10 years, I don't know where the cadre thing goes. I mean, many of the cadres have sort of stepped aside. Martin Amidu is a bit old now. He's in his house and he's one of the important cadres. He's not as active as he used to be. But the cadre group who want to resurrect the cadre situation because they believe that the cadre thing is anti-corruption, the cadre thing is a wee-wee situation, the cadre thing is proper socialism, almost communism, and that's the only way the NDC can keep its difference from the NPP. The cadre group are still very concerned that the NDC looks too much like the NPP, and Rawlings used to talk about that if you remember, that the NDC is looking too much like the NPP, that the NPP are a right-wing political party, let them look like how they look like, and the NDC must look very different. NDC should not have the kind of scandals NPP have. If NPP are sharing money somewhere, you shouldn't find NDC people doing the same thing. That group of people who believe that the longevity of the NDC will be preserved by returning to the principles of cadre, probity, accountability, transparency, that group of people are beginning the conversation, what about Guzi Tano? So, now I work for Guzi Tano. I was his publicist in the year 2000 when he did the Reform Party. So I was with him almost on a daily basis, and I was a publicist. What does that mean? So I published their stories. You know, they were a small political party. So I had to take permission from my news editor at Joy FM that I would like to be bringing reform stories. They laughed at me and they said, okay, why not? And so Guzi had 2 offices, one in Asylum Down. Those of you who live in Accra, I can show you the place near Gedeli's office. And there was another one in Ridge, North Ridge, where WellSpace used to be. His brother was MD of WellSpace at the time, so we meet there. And the sheer level of intellectual conversation of these guys, I mean, if you are young as I was at that time, you should consider yourself privileged to be in that kind of conversation. You should hear Guzi having a conversation about governance with Peter Podube. Oh my goodness. These guys were smart. I was so excited when I met with them and when I engaged with them, and I was excited about the future of the country. Cheche Opoku is one brilliant guy. Forget about law. Cheche knows everything, not just law. Mijay Bano. I mean, they were really, really solid guys. Sam Garba was with them. I think the generation is gone. The election 2000 didn't help them. Professor Mills brought them back to the NDC. They played a big role in Professor Mills's victory, and I believe that they have played a big role in President Mohammed's victory in 2016 as well. Guzi has to overcome the 24-hour economy situation. We must see the 24-hour economy thrive. I'm not sure whether we're going to see that in the first 4 years of President Mohammed's administration. I was listening to Nimoy Thompson on Bernard Avle's show, The Point of View, and he was talking about how 24-hour economy is already captured in the NDPC agenda, etc., etc. Very, very, very interesting interview. I like that interview when I saw it on Monday night, I think. Now, Guzi here is now being pushed to be the NDC flag bearer. And the NDC people are being told that if you really want to go back to be NDC so that you're not like MPP and you're going to be booted out of office one day like the MPP was booted out of office, and you want to continue to do the things MPP did so that you end up the way MPP ended up, then it's up to you. But if you want to come to the principles and the ethos of the National Democratic Congress, your best man is Augustus Tano. So that's a conversation. Mahama is not against the ticket, but it is not his favorite ticket. His favorite ticket will show you what it is. So the Guzi one is coming. We're just building up the story. We'll be giving you the inside details. They call me to tell me, you know, Adom, you there? Then they give me the filler. So, okay. Now, this is the other ticket that we talked about. The Julius Debra ticket has always been there. It's always been there. And it's a formidable ticket. Now, the tickets are gaining support by naming running mates. So if I go back here, you will see that the president's ticket has a running mate already sorted. So it is easier to sell to the party folks when you are saying, this is going as number 1, this is his number 2. It makes people feel that, oh yeah, that's a good ticket. We like it. It's great. It's, you know, I think that, I don't know whether it's good or bad, but over the last few years of our election cycles, the position of the running mate has become very important. It didn't used to be as important. I mean, in 2000, people have forgotten who was Professor Mills's running mate. It was Martin Amidu. In 2004, people have forgotten who was Professor Mills's running mate. It was Mohamed Mumuni. So the running mate thing was not a big deal. It was the Nana Akufo-Addo choice of Mahamadou Bawumia that brought the running mate thing to the big conversation. If you read our book here, the way in which Kufuor chose his running mate, Alhaji Aliyu Mahama, it was very simple. It was a very simple conversation. Aliyu was set up as a committee chairman to find a running mate for Kufuor. Find, he couldn't find. General Hamidu got his running mate agenda busted on Joy FM by Tony Edu, whose video we showed you recently, and I think I'll get that video for you soon. And so when Hamidu left, Aliyu Mahama was left with a few weeks to get a running mate, you know. And then Kufuor said, what about you, Alhaji? Blah, blah, blah. And then he became. So the running mate was not that detailed, but now it has become very, very important on our tickets. We're almost becoming like the United States. You know, Walter Mondale, how Walter Mondale became running mates to, was it George Bush? It was a very complicated, long, drawn-out conversation in the American Republican Party politics over there. So people are now putting the running mate forward so that you can get a sense of where the ticket is going. So that's the president tickets. Now here, so the Julius Debra people are beginning to craft a running mate for Wafa Julius. And guess what they are talking about? They are talking about Zaneto Rawlings. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. That, no, we are going with Julius, and Julius will pick Zaneto for the running mate. So guys, Charlie, let's come and rally behind this. This is a young ticket. It's vibrant. It's sexy. It's beautiful. And I can assure you, most of the arts and entertainment people who helped the NDC to win the 2024 elections are on this ticket. So talk of Fred Nyama, Kofi Ocho Dako, all of them, all the musicians, everybody who helped the NDC from the arts and entertainment side, Jifa Danku, blah, blah, blah. Is that her name? Abena Danku or something. Yes, she. All of those people are on the Julius ticket. And all of them are excited about the Dr. Rawlings running mate. That's a sexy ticket. We're going to go on a walk. And we're going to be holding dumbbells. And we're going to sing from victory unto. Everybody's holding a dumbbell. And it's going to be nice. I mean, God give us life over the next 3 years. Ghana is going to be very beautiful. If you're a political reporter, you are in the best business. Okay, my producer wants me to move on. That's why he's put Eric Opoku there. So Eric Opoku has always been the other ticket, okay? Now, Eric Opoku is formidable because he has gravitas. He's on the ground. He has gravitas. He's Minister for Agriculture, so don't write Minister of Agriculture off. Don't write them off. Eric Opoku is formidable to the extent that she has full backing from the First Lady, Lordina Mahama. This is Lordina Mahama's ticket. That's Eric Opoku. That's Lordina's ticket. And Lordina is happy to back Eric Opoku. They think that he's a calm guy. He doesn't antagonize anybody. He's a real politician. He distinguishes himself as minister. He was a minister for Works and Housing the other time. No issues of corruption. He's a minister who focuses on his work. That's Eric Opoku. So he also is in the race. Now bring Jenan Opoku Agyeman. Let's deal with it. Okay. Now the Jenan Opoku Agyeman ticket it's getting long. I don't know how we'll break it down. Anyway, the Jenan Opoku Agyeman ticket has an interesting twist to it. It is a ticket that is marshaled by Samuel Ofosu Ampofo. Now, people don't know Samuel Ofosu Ampofo that well. Now, I had studied Samuel Ofosu Ampofo since 1997 when he was a student in Accra Poly. I had friends there, so I'll go there. And I observed the way he was marshalling people to support the NDC ticket. At that time, he was a parliamentary candidate. And he defeated some heavyweights. I think it was Professor Adofenin. Professor Adofenin was the head of history department at the University of Ghana. Powerful guy. And he was running at Fantiakwa for the New Patriotic Party. Fantiakwa is a seat that was held by Jones Oforiatta. Oh, bring back, for example, I'm not done. Fantiakwa was a seat that was held by Jones Oforiatta, a stalwart of the MPP. And then this was Adofenin contesting for Fantiakwa with a young man, Ofosu Ampofo, who defeated Adofenin, and everybody was surprised. So Ofosu Ampofo is a very powerful political actor, but he also understands that you can have enemies in your own party. Why do I say that? I say that because I believe it's 2012, Ofosu Ampofo was contesting parliament, not in Fantiakwa, but in Tema. And he was running against Irene Natoshi. Oh my goodness, I wish they had Irene Natoshi's photograph. They'll put it on. Irene Natoshi is the kind of politician that has support in both NDC and MPP. She's an MPP woman, but she has such massive support in NDC, you can't understand it. Irene Natoshi is a real big deal when it comes to grassroots politics. I know her because we lived in the same neighborhood in Sakumon. I visit her all the time and I see the political operations that she conducts. Never underestimate that lady. Irene Natoshi is a powerful political operator. You can think of Irene Natoshi as a John Boydu or anything else. Forget about the fact that she's a woman and she's a nice, distinguished lawyer and all of that. When it comes to the grassroots politics, you can't put Irene away. Irene secured some support from important NDC people to defeat Ofosu Ampofo in the Tema constituency in the 2012 election and was elected to parliament. Ofosu Ampofo was not elected to parliament, even though the NDC won the election. Ofosu Ampofo at that time was Minister for Local Government, and he was running one constituency as Minister for Local Government. Irene Natoshi was a young woman coming into politics and defeated him with the support of key NDC people. Some of them are still alive, so I don't want to mention their names. Very, very powerful NDC people supported Irene Natoshi to defeat Ofosu Ampofo in 2012 in Tema. I was there. Now, Ofosu Ampofo is coming back to marshal the campaign of Professor Jenan Opoku Agyeman, and you can't underestimate that. Ofosu Ampofo is also angry. He has a wound. What is the wound? His wound is that the eternal general secretary of the party, his very, very close friend, Johnson Asiedu Nkatia, took out a form to challenge him as chairman. Not just challenge him, but Asiedu Nkatia actually defeated him. That's a wound Ofosu Ampofo carries. He carries the political wounds are carried by people for the longest time. I mean, Ronald Reagan and people carry their political wounds for a long time in Ghana. We know the political wounds that people carry. So he carries that political wound, okay. He is determined that Johnson Asiedu Nkatia, having upstaged him as the chairman of the party, should not and should never become the leader of the party. For that reason, Ofosu Ampofo believes that the best choice for leadership is Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman. So that is a big deal, and we can't underestimate that. Is that the president's ticket? The president is not against it. But it's okay. It's a political contest and it's going to happen. The chief of staff is in the office of the president, working for the president and the vice president. He's going to contest. The vice president is going to contest. Guzitano and his group are going to make their statements. I'm not sure whether they're going to make such a major inroad, but they're going to make an important statement. And the president's ticket is now K. Salato Forsen and John Jinapo. Let's come to this other story. There's a big fight between Education Minister Idrisu Haruna and Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. The fight is happening on many grounds, but one of the grounds is that Okudzeto Ablakwa believes that he birthed the vision of Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman as a president, and you can't take that away from him. He was deputy minister to Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman in the first John Mahama incarnation as president. And he worked with Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman quite a bit. And in those days, Ablakwa began to think that this very brilliant woman should actually become president. She should be president. She can be our first female president. So when, and Ablakwa is also a product of the Ahoys, Kwame Ato, especially Ato. Ablakwa is a product of Ato Ahoy. I mean, if you read my book, it's there. Babies with Sharp Teeth is there. All the accounts is there. When Ato Ahoy hired them to attack Rawlings, all of that. Ablakwa was a leader in that circumstance. So Ablakwa is a product of the Ahoys. Professor Jane is also a product of the Ahoys. So Ablakwa believes, genuinely believes so, and there are people who think like that. You can't begrudge them for thinking so. He's a former vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. Why not president? No problem. But he is beginning to feel that education minister is not part of this agenda. Then suddenly he's trying to behave like he's taking center stage of it so that he'll become running mate. That and other matters are just generating serious tension between Idrisu Haruna and Okudzeto Ablakwa, Foreign Affairs Minister. The Vice President is in the middle. We'll see how that goes. These are just the beginning of the story, so I have the loaded one that is coming. I'll share them with you. It's past 10 o'clock now. I'll share them with you. Now, let's come to the original ticket. This is the original ticket. Johnson Asiedu Ketia, still by leaps and bounds, leads the charge. If you do the election today, I think Asiedu Ketia will win. If the NDC were to do the election, Asiedu Ketia here, there, thank you very much. If the NDC were to do the election today, I think Asiedu Ketia will win. You don't have, you have Ato Forsen there, okay. So this looks like the cast. Now, Asiedu Ketia was thinking about running mate Alban Bagbin. I don't know whether they are still thinking so, because some of their insiders tell me that they are being concerned about the age of both men. So don't be surprised if you get a poll coming from Musa Dankwa very soon about the ages of candidates and how that works. So Alban Bagbin was going to partner Asiedu Ketia. Now, why were they preparing this ticket? They were preparing this ticket and they called it the only ticket that survives the corruption tag. Because in Ghana, if you're running for president and you need to deal with corruption, it's a very difficult matter to deal with. Whether it's real, whether it's perceived, once there's a corruption tag on you, it can be problematic in Ghana. Now, they know that. So they are thinking that if you want to have a ticket that can really deliver a victory, then it must be a clean ticket. For it to be clean, you must have two people on the ticket that nobody can raise a corruption issue against. And who are these two? Johnson Asiedu Ketia has never been minister, never been anything, never been anything that is around giving contract or nothing. No, zero. He makes quite a bit of money, but I mean, when we were in Sakumono and he moved, he said he built a house in Dodowa that apparently had 13 bedrooms or something like that. I think he still lives there. I don't know. But yeah, so the corruption thing is like that. Somebody may benefit from government largesse, but he's not a minister. He's not a deputy minister. He hasn't given contract. His name will never come up for anything, but they have benefited hugely. It happens like that in politics. Somebody may be a minister that doesn't benefit much, but he gets involved in a contract that he didn't even benefit from, but it becomes a hula baloo and then the corruption tag. So it's always a tag. That may not be real. It may be perceived, but perception is more important in politics than reality, as everyone knows. So this is the ticket they are looking at, but they are thinking that the tickets that, you know, if you are campaigning against them and you say the combined ages of the president and the running mate is 157. Oh, that's some way. That's some way. And then you combine that with Julius Debra Zaneto, who can carry dumbbells and go on a walk. I mean, you're not going. You need to have the oomph about your ticket, the excitement about the ticket. You need to have the sexiness about the ticket. You can't have a ticket that your opponents are saying the combined age of the president and the vice is 79 plus 76. Hey, it's too much. Once the age is crossing 100, that for the two of you, my brother, you are almost out. With the Gen Z generation that we have, it's not working, you know. So I think they are thinking about that. Okay, now bring back the cast. So if you now look at the list of the NDC tickets that is running for 2028, you now have Johnson Asiedu Nketia top on the agenda. If I have to pick a number 2, I will pick Julius Deborah number 2, Professor Jenano Opoku-Agyeman number 3, Eric Opoku number 4, Keisol Atuforsen number 5, and Guzi Tano number 6. But that's only for today. Come back after Atuforsen has read the budget. Come back after President Mahama has given his sessional address next year, where he's going to extol the virtues of Atuforsen. And I told you that before. Please note it down. In his sessional address next year, President Mahama will mention Atuforsen's name not once, not twice, maybe several times. He's going to say, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished finance minister, Keisol Atuforsen, going to say, yeah, has been able to achieve so and so and so. So then he's going to say it again, Mr. Speaker, the finance minister, Atuforsen, yeah, that's what is going to happen. And that's the promotion. That's where it's going to begin. Come back after that sessional address, Atuforsen's ratings will move from number 4 and it's probably coming up. We have to rely on Musa Dankwa to pull it and see how it's going. But this is the latest on the NDC ticket. Atuforsen, John Jinapo, Professor Jenano Opoku-Agyeman, and Haruna Idrisu. Guzi Tano is being pushed by the Kades, Julius Deborah and Dr. Zaneto Rawlings. Eric Opoku hasn't told us who his running mate will be yet. Johnson Asiedu Nketia and Speaker Alban Bagbin. That looks like the cast. It's getting very interesting. 15 minutes past the hour, 10 o'clock. Let me go over to text messages, see what people are saying. But remember to get a book from the University of Ghana bookshop and in Kumasi, KNUST bookshop as well. And then I have to send one to Tamale and to Bolga, and I will do that. I think next week I have a few copies for the leaders of parliament, and I'll send it to them as well. And then we can deal with it. I want people to read it and tell me what is wrong with it. Is there something wrong with it? Because we believe that the research was very tight. Yes, so that's what you see on your screen over there. Africa's new constitutional leadership, the 77 stories that define Ghana's Fourth Republic. Okay, let me go to text message. When I come back, we're going back to Parliament for the discussion on the LGBTQ bill. And then maybe we'll start with Alexander Afenyo-Markin's motion before the House, before the Speaker. He's asking the Speaker to stop the vetting, or to halt the vetting, or to postpone the vetting of His Lordship Justice Bafo Boni. Who shall I start with on the screen? Anziba, what are people saying?
Thank you very much, Paul. Coming from Cham William, he says, since when did the OSP become an NPP person? Captain Smart must grow up. Nash GH says, the NDC majority are seriously lobbying for positions, and that is why it's difficult for them to avail themselves in Parliament to conduct government business. Numo says, I miss the Honorable J.H. Mensah. Hamdan says, good evening, Ghana official. Please, how do we get Poadom Otre's books in the northern universities, UDS Tamale specifically? KT says, Paul, I have ordered the book from Amazon and it's arriving this Saturday. Sherry Giovanni says, the rate of absenteeism in Parliament is troubling. Is this the recess agenda we were promised? Master Planner says, all the NDC potential candidates cannot match Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. We, the NPP delegates, are focused on delivering victory for DMB come 31st January 2026, inshallah. Lastly, from Yao February, he says, President Mahama said Ghana will have a female president soon, so there's no person President Mahama will support to lead the NDC towards 2028 election, other than the Vice President Jane Nana Agyeman. The president may choose the vice president, but Chairman Asiedu Nketia will win against his contenders. Over to you, Fatih.
All right, thank you, Wanziba. So Alhaji Haruna from Tamale says, the touchscreen analysis is top-notch. Paul, you are brutal. But Haruna Idris's modus operandi is one of the pretentiousness. He's interested in the top job of the president. Whoever the NDC brings cannot win against. Dr. Bawumia will win the 2028 elections, God willing. Dr. Bawumia is a tried and tested candidate who in all his public life and service has proven track record of integrity, compassion, hardworking, proactive, innovative, and very competent leader Ghana needs for its developmental growth. Dr. Bawumia is our presidential candidate for this election. Yeah, February says President Mahama said Ghana will have a female president soon. So there is no person President Mahama will support to lead the NDC towards 2028 election other than the vice president. Ali Obama says it is regrettable that Ghana has political party like the NDC. This party compromises into name-calling at their foundation. That was the reason why they had an office called the Propaganda Secretary. Regrettably, once 99% of Ghanaians acquire education, the NDC's uncultured behavior will be exposed and nothing will prevent the party's collapse. Junior Akbar Tamale says the 24-hour economy is dead and gone. It was just a propaganda policy. Even from number one person to the last from the NDC knows it was a 419 promise. Diamond Breath says, how do you compare Sammy Jemfi to Dr. Tony Ado? Haj Kobar says, you are an epitome of wisdom, Paul. Keep it up and may Allah guide you. And lastly, coming from Nano Osu, he says, in fact, the OSP reminds me of the popular storytelling program called By the Fireside. He talks too much with no action or substance. In fact, in my humble opinion, that office has to be audited based on their KPIs. Kisia Jaben is virtually wasting the taxpayers' time and money. I'm shocked that he's always telling us stories again to nothing to show for it. Now back to you, Paul.
Okay, somebody says what's the cost of the book? It's 200 cedis for campuses. If you are buying on the university campus, if you are buying in town, the bookshops in town is 400 cedis. Because I assume that on campus students will be buying it. I want all students to have it. I'll be at the Faculty of Law sometime soon. I'll be doing some rounds at the universities in Legon, KNUST, and KVAS just to share my thoughts about what's in the book. So get ready for that. You get an announcement and I'll be coming. I don't want to say it too early because my security people say if you say that you go, then these people will beat you up. So I'm not saying it, but I'll be doing it. I'll be doing those things. I'm very concerned about the next generation of young Ghanaians and for them to know the history of where we have actually come from. I see people excited about the Tony Edu video. Let me show it to you again before I get to the next story. Alexander Afenyo-Markin's motion before Parliament. We're going to look at it and see how difficult it's going to be for the Speaker to rule on this one. And then also, Lawyer Preku will join me in the studio. They will look at the LGBT problem. Where are we? Where is the bill? Is it going to pass? Will it not pass? We'll look at all the dimensions. And then there's concern that St. George has put up, it's bringing some amendments to the cybersecurity bill. And those amendments are threatening the rights of individuals, like people like me who sit on television and say this and that. If you are not careful, you say something, the police will come to the door and arrest you. And that's what St. George wants. And civil society is concerned about that. So we'll look at that. Also, tonight, Liverpool, the English football giants, who are also the defending champions, having won the title 20 times, now looking like a pale shadow of themselves. Our reporter will come in to tell us what this weekend's English Premier League looks like and why Liverpool must definitely win the game this weekend against Aston Villa at Anfield. Otherwise, Arne Slot will be sacked. How can a coach be sacked the season after he won the title on his first attempt? All of that coming up on Good Evening Ghana tonight. So let's get back to Parliament 1999. Tony Edu defending himself fiercely against the use of the word wabodam to describe the minority leader.
I have been brought up to tell the truth and to stand up for the truth. If somebody is telling
lies... That was Dr. Tony
Edu
giving an opinion about himself. For over 1 hour, the Deputy Minister of Defense designate answered questions from members of the Select Committee. These include an allegation that he is rude and ill-tempered, the problems he is likely to encounter as a Deputy Minister of Defense, and why he left the employment of the University of Cape Coast.
You have been virtually described as a man with ungovernable temper. Now, where you have been designated to occupy is a very sensitive institution or ministry. Now, how do you see yourself marrying what is perceived of you with the office that you are going to take now?
What I have are certain principles which guide my conduct. One of the principles is my commitment to the defense of justice and therefore the fight against injustice. I also like to see disciplined conduct, in which case any moment or situation in which I find a person, it doesn't matter where he's coming from, being subjected to injustice, I feel that it is my natural duty and also my civic responsibility to defend that person against injustice. If in so doing, I am seen and presented falsely by the press as somebody with an ungovernable temper, that is not the case, and it is unfortunate.
You call somebody Wabodam. Now, in your own thinking, you think it's a distant language?
I recall I have qualified somebody's name with the word Wabodam to draw his attention to the fact that he used that word, that unacceptable word which you are just saying, and you admit that it's unacceptable. It's indecorous language. We heard, the whole of this country heard and saw Mr. J.H. Mensah, minority leader in our August House, use that unacceptable word, the word you said is unacceptable, to describe the constitutional advisory opinion of the Council of State. We heard him call the members and the Council of State Wabodam. There has been no evidence of remorse or any attempt by Mr. J.H. Mensah to actually apologize to the Council of State, who in the course of fulfilling their constitutional functions only gave an opinion. If in using that word you say I'm indecorous, then I welcome it.
That was Dr. Tony Edu, and what a delight to be reminded that Tony Edu is still happily with us. He lives at Sempe Valley, up there in the Ebri, on the road to Ebri, somewhere there. And recently he was interviewed by Joy FM. It was a real delight to see Tony Edu still commenting on national issues. Tony Edu must be pushing about 80 years now, I think. And those were the heydays of Anthony Edu. A lot more of history will be coming to you viewers from this platform here. Now, though, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, the dynamic leader of the mighty minority, has brought up a motion. Alex Markin is saying to Speaker Bagbin that you cannot vet Mr. Justice Bafuboni unless and until all the matters that the Justice Tokonu has brought before the court have been dealt with. Now, we just want to take 5 minutes to sort of analyze the motion that the minority leader has presented. Mr. Bagbin is expected to rule on the motion, and we want to look at what options are open to the Speaker of Parliament from the political legal resources available. Okay. Now, Alex Markin's point is that there is a Chief Justice that went through a process under Article 146 for impeachment. The process completed and the President was satisfied and the committee recommended to the President to remove her. The President has duly done so, and so she is deemed removed. But during the process of the hearings of Article 146, Justice Tokonu and her lawyers filed actions at the court, Supreme Court, and the High Court, the Human Rights Division. They filed actions that were complaining about the process that they were being taken through pursuant to the Article 146 hearing, and chaired by Mr. Justice Gabriel Poaman, who is a member of the Supreme Court. Now, the argument that Alex Markin makes is that this is a matter that's gone before the court. If the court were to rule in any of these matters in favor of Justice Tokonu, it will invalidate what happened at the commission and therefore invalidates the recommendation to the president, and therefore invalidates the president's removal of her, and therefore restores her as Chief Justice. That's the argument Alex Makin is making. That is a matter before a court. In a court, you hardly have a draw. You win or you lose. So Justice Tokonu may win or she may lose. But let us wait and find out whether she has won or she has lost before we come to Parliament and begin the appointment hearing of Justice Bafo-Boni. Very interesting motion that raises constitutional issues and interpretation of the standing orders. It's very, very important. Now, what is Speaker Bagwin likely to do? Whilst we don't know what Speaker Bagwin will do, we can surmise, given the resources available to the Speaker, as I said, in the political, legal context. Now, the one small matter for Alex Makin is that one of the issues raised in one of the cases of Justice Tokonu is being heard at the High Court level. Now, a matter that is before the High Court, irrespective of how it comes out, does not give finality to the exploitation of the judicial process. A matter the Supreme Court gives a finality, except to the Supreme Court review, which has to be granted. It's not always granted. If you go and lose 7-0, the Supreme Court will hardly grant you a review. But at the High Court, the matter is not final. So if Justice Tokonu were to go to the High Court and win, the Attorney General, against whom the action has been instituted, can sue on the Court of Appeal and a further appeal to the Supreme Court. In the same way, if Justice Tokonu were to lose at the High Court, she can file to the Court of Appeal and further to the Supreme Court. The question then would be, if Parliament were to agree with the minority leader, should Parliament wait for Justice Tokonu to go through that process in case that happens, because that's a potential travel journey of the brief? Should Parliament wait and wait and wait until all of those things have happened? I don't know how the Speaker will deal with that, but that's one small matter. Now, the Speaker may also say that in terms of Parliament standing orders, they have been given a job to do, to vet the nominee. The vetting of the nominee and the passing of the nominee does not make him Chief Justice. No, it doesn't. That you vet him, and then you say that he has passed. You write a letter to the President that we have completed the process that is given to us under the Constitution, and your nominee has passed. Congratulations. Until and unless the President appoints him by swearing him in and giving him the seal of appointment, Mr. Justice Bafo-Boni does not become Chief Justice. So the Speaker may say that we have a job to do, we conduct our work. If you have a case, go to the court and injunct the President from swearing in Mr. Justice Bafo-Boni until all of those matters have been heard in court. That a proper forum for the minority leaders' concerns, which are legitimate, should be the Supreme Court, seeking an injunction on the President that after the vetting of Mr. Bafo-Boni, you cannot appoint him until and unless the matters are over. Speaker Bagwin may say that. If you look at the history of Parliament and the way they try to insulate themselves from other institutions of government, perhaps he will say that. But that will be a difficult call if he says that, because he's going to lay down a history where we're going to have some of these things coming up 10 years from now, 15, 20, whatever years from now, and it can be complicated, where somebody is in a position, he's suspended, and the president nominates another person, and the suspension, the person goes to court, and then you vet the person, and it becomes problematic. So I don't know how the Speaker is going to deal with it. But we have to congratulate the minority leader for taking another step that is most likely going to enhance the democratic tendencies of the Parliament and of our Fourth Republic. So I did this story to say congratulations to Osahene Alexander Makin, who has taken this very interesting step as minority leader. Okay, it's now 27 minutes to the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. Let Lawyer Apreku come in. Let's look at the LGBT action. Okay, Apreku, so are they going to take this off?
Yeah, so if Nisaki could change the...
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
No, okay, the same kind of people.
This is the Bahamidis Mahamari.
So they bill, the LGBT bill. I heard the arguments. And Mahama Ayariga says the bill is still there.
Yeah, so he initially said that as a press conference, and that is number 19 on the player. If
also, you want us to watch that?
That is so. So number 19, Mahama Ayariga.
Let's watch the Mahama Ayariga video.
If a bill is not passed, and then the life of the parliament expires, then it lapses. But this one was passed. Are you getting the situation? Is that okay? We have passed it. If a bill is not passed, and then the life of the parliament expires, then it lapses. But this one was passed. Are you getting the situation? Is that okay? We have passed.
Yes, so that was Mahama Ayariga.
So after this, there was a bit of discussion on social media, and it would seem that the Speaker of Parliament equally became aware of the comments that were made. And so the Speaker, the Right Honourable Babin, stated his view of the position, to wit that once a Parliament is dissolved or stands dissolved, all actions that are incompleted dies with that Parliament. And so the video is also there as Speaker Babin talks about the dissolution of Parliament. I think that is number 18.
Let's watch
in
that.
The mixer.
Let's see that one.
LGBTQ bill was advertised, and the following day it was immediately taken out of the order paper. And I mentioned to this House that, truth be told, you had seen the adverts, but said there were a few issues that needed to be resolved before a decision can be taken as to what to do. Because I took a position that, so far as I recollect, in the last Parliament, we passed the LGBTQ bill, and my understanding was that it was transmitted to the presidency. Later, we saw communication from the presidency threatening us to cease and desist, attempting to transmit the bill to the then.
Honourable members, with regard to the bill, as you know, the 8th Parliament is history. So are all the businesses that were pending in the 8th Parliament. They all ended with the 8th Parliament. And so we have a new Parliament, the 9th Parliament. And therefore, what was pending there came to an end and had to be reintroduced.
So what's the Speaker saying?
So now the Speaker is saying that every uncompleted act of the 8th Parliament has to be reintroduced and must be subject to this process. That is the procedure for passing laws in Ghana, to wit Article 106.
Okay.
Reading everything will be boring. So what basically Article 106 says is, if a bill has to be passed into law, it is produced or it's presented to the House then reads it for the first time, it is referred to the committee for deliberation. In this instance, it was referred to the Constitutional and Legal Committee of Parliament. That should do the deliberation. When that is done, with the report and everything, it's brought back to the floor for the second reading. After it is approved, and then it goes to the third reading, it is voted upon, and it's passed as law. Now, that is basically, that's what Parliament did. Parliament passed it as a bill. So it's passed as a bill. However, the process does not end. The bill now has to be transmitted to the President, who would then append his signature, or what we often call an assent of the bill. It is upon the President's assent to the bill that it becomes law. So the fact that Parliament says that we want this to be passed as law does not necessarily mean it will be passed as law. It's the President that has to complete the process by assenting or appending his signature to it to make it law.
So you're saying that the life of a bill and its transition to law is one process.
Yes.
It's not truncated.
No.
So the Parliament will say, I have done my part. So, and therefore, as far as Parliament is concerned, it's over.
Yes.
And so the bill is on its way to the President. So when the president changes, the bill is still on its way to the president. Or as some people said, it was on Nana Akufo-Addo's desk and he left. So John Mahama has come to see it. You should just sign it.
Yes.
That's not legal.
Even that, now there are some contrary reports, because it would seem, per some news reports, that the bill actually did not go to the land at the president's desk.
Because he resisted it. The president resisted it.
Yes, no, I'm talking about after
he resisted the receiving of the bill.
Because there was an injunction.
Because he said there was an injunction that the bill should not be sent to him.
Exactly, a pending legal matter.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's right. Once there's an injunction, you must stop everything. So now, if the president does not want to sign, he has a problem. The president must now write back to Parliament with the bill, indicating the problems he has with the bill. Now, when Parliament receives the memo from the president, which has details of the problem, Parliament has two options. One, to either accede to the request of the president and make those changes, or two, insist or impress on the president to sign. But this time it has to be by a 2/3 majority.
Yeah.
So it's a 2/3 majority that will now compel the president, because now there's a 2/3 majority.
But if the president doesn't sign, in American policy, the president doesn't sign and it's passed by 2/3 of Parliament, is deemed passed.
But that's their.
How is the Ghana situation?
Ours is no.
The president must sign.
The president must assent.
But so if the 2/3 says sign and he doesn't sign,
as the 2/3 says sign, he's bound to sign.
He's bound to. Okay.
Exactly.
So he's bound to. So you can go to court with
and compel and say
compel
that
him.
These are the there's the Hansard for so and so day. The Hansard shows that these were those that were present. The Hansard shows that these are the votes 2/3. Because looking at something like 2/3, I don't think it will be a voice vote. It would have to be.
Yeah, but the NDC has 2/3 in this situation.
Yes, in any case.
So assuming that they do the bill again, and the bill goes to the president and he is not signing, and the 2/3 says sign, and he doesn't sign, you can go to court with a mandamus
to compel him
to
because
sign.
as a public officer. So when we say a mandamus basically is a court action that can compel a public officer to perform a public function
that he ought to
perform.
Okay,
that is his responsibility.
So in that case, the president
not performing.
Now, the bill, as the debate in Parliament, we had Abu Jinapo, Member of Parliament for Damango, concerned that the bill as it was if it's been introduced, he was cautioning the NDC not to change anything in the bill. Where is that argument coming from?
The rationale is that I think there is now some sort of general acceptance from members of the NDC that the bill in its present state is not very suitable in our constitutional dispensation, because banning things like association, obviously the Supreme Court has ruled on it 30 years ago. Justice Amoasechi held that even homosexuals have a right to form associations, and the MPP versus Attorney General Siba, you cannot prevent people from having associations. So things like banning associations and compelling people to report on others may be a problem. More particularly so, you only feel the heat when you are in the kitchen. So it would seem that now the NDC is in power and they are in the kitchen, and as I think the minority leader said, that Honorable Haruna Iddrisu needs money for his budget for school, and so it's becoming a problem. So now the charge of MPP, more particularly Abu Jinapo, is just as you attempted to do to us when we were in power, we will also do same to you.
So pass the bill as it is.
Pass the bill as it was. Yes, as
because
it is.
we passed it.
Because we passed it.
Yeah, at least in Parliament.
In Parliament, there were some Supreme Court actions here and there. The Supreme Court action finished, and a lot of issues. But now you have 2/3 majority. Most likely, if you do whatever, you may not go to the Supreme Court, or nobody may go to the Supreme Court. So at least initiate the process and have it passed.
So next week, Moses Famani has promised us an interview, and I'll be asking him that the bill appears to criminalize thought
and identity,
and which is very complicated under 1992 Constitution. Mens rea, as they say in law, is not a crime.
Yeah.
So if I think LGBT, I have not committed an offense under the Ghanaian Criminal Offences Act. But this bill is introducing that, isn't it?
Yes. So there is an issue of the general principle of law, of criminal law, hinges on what we call generally the harms principle, which was posited by a man called John Stuart Mill. I don't want to get too complicated, but he basically says that criminal law must hinge on one thing. That is, the actions I do that harms another individual or another person must be what is criminalized. So for instance, if a homosexual touches a child, he ought to go to jail. But if per his existence, he doesn't harm another person, then there is no way or there is no reason he or she should be thrown into prison. Because you cannot criminalize a state of being. You can criminalize an action or an omission, because an omission is interpreted as an act. But you cannot criminalize a state of being. So you cannot criminalize someone because the person merely is fancy, or the person merely is a Muslim. But if the person holds certain egregious beliefs of his religion, such that he spills those beliefs, which we believe may be dangerous to society, that act of spilling those beliefs is an act. So if we are throwing the person in jail, we are not throwing the person in jail for belonging to a religion. We are throwing him in jail. We are throwing him in jail for the act of advocating, of putting that information out there, of inciting people against against others. So that is what maybe. Those are the discussions that actually.
Those are the thorny areas.
Areas that have been.
Can the bill all be passed, as we're discussing this, in one day?
Well, yes, in theory. But if you look at the standing orders of Parliament, and more specifically under Section 17, you would notice that, which governs law, you notice that before a bill is presented, the bill has to be placed in the Gazette or advertised. And the rationale is to have people present their opinions. And
how many days is that?
For 17 days.
Okay, so after 17 days, Parliament can use 3 days to pass it.
Can use it, yeah. Oh, even this bill, it was passed one afternoon. After the first reading, when it was sent to the committee hearing...
There are 17 days kicking after the first reading or before the first reading?
Before it is even presented. And the rationale, so for instance, right now, there are consultations ongoing about the Cybersecurity Bill, Cybersecurity Amendment Bill, and then the NITA, which is another act that they intend to introduce. So those are consultations you can have.
But the president promised that this bill was now going to be a government bill. Is there any more news on that?
So it was when the president met the Catholic Bishops' Conference earlier this year, and he said that one concern was the issue of it coming from a private member's bill means that it cannot place a charge on the consolidated fund. And putting people in prison and things like that would obviously place a charge on the fund, because you need courts and everything, and consequently it has to come from the executive. And so that would clear one constitutional hurdle from the passing of the bill, which would make it relatively easier to pass. So it's an issue as a now political will. Because really, there's no injunction by the Supreme Court. There's no injunction by any court on process. So it's an issue of political will. Parliament is sitting again. The president can present it through the Attorney General, also the floor of Parliament, for the processes to commence. And so, because for instance, the first bill, under Nanado, after the first reading, it was referred to the committee hearing. The committee sat for about a year or two. I don't know if you remember, there were committee hearings. People
a lot. Mustafa
Moini was there, and then the late Anthony Akutu-Ampao.
Yes.
Attended,
they were
against
the bill.
In Chambers, was again Audrey Gajekwe and all. Now, after that, when the report of the bill was submitted to the floor, the second and third reading were all done in one afternoon, and the bill was passed.
It will be interesting to see how that civil society group, Professor Audrey Gajekwe, Professor Techu Amenu, and all of them who were against the bill, what they will do this time if the bill is to be reintroduced in Ghana. That's a very good point. So let's keep an eye on it. Speaker Bagme has a forum with media next week. Perhaps he will take some questions on that. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So it's an issue of political will, really.
That's where we are.
It's political will, because you have 2/3. You have more than 2/3 actually, because Akwetia, and then
2/3 plus 1.
2/3 plus 1. So this really is not a problem that should.
So the NDC should pass it?
Yes, if they are so minded.
But does it have political, legal consequences? Maybe I shouldn't ask you that. You're a lawyer. You don't want to go talk politics. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Apreku is a lecturer, so when he comes, he gives us a lot of information.
I'm not there yet.
We'll be talking about Liverpool next. Liverpool Football Club, and why what is happening. But people still want to see Tony Edu's video. Let me show. No, wait. I got a text from Moses Farmoni. I'm sure that is very important that I read it. Apreku, I'm sure he's talking about you. Okay, it says, Paul, has this your researcher read the bill? I'm sure he has, Moses. He's asking whether he read the bill.
Oh, we have.
You have, okay. I'm sure he has.
We did when he came with Sam George came.
Yeah.
We did an analysis on the bill. Moses Farmoni himself came.
Yeah.
We did an analysis. We took the sections one by one, and we compared it. We juxtaposed it with the memo presented by the Attorney General. That was prepared by the Attorney General.
Yeah.
On specific clauses of the bill. I don't know if you would remember.
Yeah,
so we've done all those.
That was in 22.
So it's 223.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a hot topic.
It was. Hopefully Moses will be here, and then we can grill him, and then you can ask him questions as well when he comes. Okay, we're going to talk about it. Moses, thank you very much for watching. Have a very good evening, and say hello to your children. I miss them, don't I? Okay, all right. Liverpool Football Club. What is happening? Before then, though, back to Tony Edu and then Liverpool Football Club. See you.
I have been brought up to tell the truth and to stand up for the truth. If somebody is telling lies,
that was Dr. Tony Edu
and I have
giving
the
an
opportunity,
opinion about himself.
and God has so
For over 1 hour, the Deputy Minister of Defense designate answered questions from members of the Select Committee. These include an allegation that he is rude and ill-tempered, the problems he is likely to encounter as a Deputy Minister of Defense, and why he left the employment of the University of Cape Coast.
You have been virtually described as a man with ungovernable temper. Now, where you have been designated to occupy is a very sensitive institution or ministry. Now, how do you see yourself marrying what is perceived of you with the office that you are going to take now?
What I have are certain principles which guide my conduct. One of the principles is my commitment to the defense of justice and therefore the fight against injustice. I also like to see disciplined conduct, in which case any moment or situation in which I find a person, it doesn't matter where he's coming from, being subjected to injustice, I feel that it is my natural duty and also my civic responsibility to defend that person against injustice. If in so doing, I am seen and presented falsely by the press as somebody with an ungovernable temper, that is not the case, and it is unfortunate.
You call somebody Wabodam. Now, in your own thinking, you think it's a distant language?
I recall I have qualified somebody's name with the word Wabodam to draw his attention to the fact that he used that word, that unacceptable word which you are just saying, and you admit that it's unacceptable. It's indecorous language. We heard, the whole of this country heard and saw Mr. J.H. Mensah, minority leader in our August House, use that unacceptable word, the word you said is unacceptable, to describe the constitutional advisory opinion of the Council of State. We heard him call the members and the Council of State Wabodam. There has been no evidence of remorse or any attempt by Mr. J.H. Mensah to actually apologize to the Council of State, who in the course of fulfilling their constitutional functions only gave an opinion. If in using that word you say I'm indecorous, then I welcome it.
Welcome back to the show, and we're soon going to talk about Liverpool. And Hassan Bello also has information for us. Developments in Nigeria now suggest that President Bola Tinubu has caused the arrest and detention of some of the top military generals, and the allegation is that they may have been involved in discussions about a coup d'etat to remove the Nigerian federal government. That's very worrying. Bello will tell us more about that before the end of the show. Now, though, we go over to our social media editors, and Fatih will speak first about the text message. Next will be Anziba.
All right. Thank you, Paul. So Master Planner Junior says, Lawyer Perfi is really up to date, and I'm really enjoying his legal lessons, great analysis. Yafrebi says the 8th Parliament passed the LGBTQ bill, and President Nana Addo did not assent to it because some provisions needed to be amended. Also, President Mahama was unable to assent the bill because the bill was returned back to the 8th Parliament, so his government is going to sponsor the LGBTQ bill as a state-sponsored bill, and the Speaker of Parliament said he will expedite the process of its passage when laid in Parliament. Honorable majority is wrong for saying the 8th Parliament passed the LGBTQ bill. So there should not be another passage of the 9th Parliament, but the Speaker of Parliament ruled by supporting the thought of the minority to consider the bill from its initial step for scrutinizing by the 9th Parliament. If the bill is going to go through the process before its passage, then we expect the majority to support the minority and pass the LGBTQ bill in its current form with any amendment. And lastly, coming from Imoro Mohammed, he says, the majority leader, who is as well as a lawyer, needs to track cautiously because it's like he's finding a difficult deal with the fact this man is needing government business in Parliament who claim either ignorantly or deliberately that the Agenda 111 health policy only has one hospital project, and the area he's coming from, I think he needs to check his facts very well the next time.
Thank you, Fatih. Coming from Kofi Edusa Kodia, he says, honestly, the Siedu backbin tickets will be fierce. NPP would have to go above and beyond to win against these two. Justin Benzema says, for Adomo trip, please, we need copies of your book up over here in the Upper East region. Do make arrangements so we can have the opportunity to read your work. From Yao Marvin, he says, good evening, Paul. Irrespective of all the candidates for the NDC party, we will be choosing Dr. Bawumia for the 2028 elections, and he's going to win, God willing. Lastly, coming from Apia Dan, so he says, please, I live in the UK and I need one of your books urgently. How much does it cost on Amazon in the UK? Over to you, Paul.
Much. I've forgotten the Amazon price. I think it depends on the location where you are. But I can get the Amazon price and give to you. I'll ask Mikael. He will know. But I think if you're in America, it's probably going to be cheaper than if you're in Europe. But it's not that expensive. In Ghana, it's 200 cedis, so it will be around something like that, single figures, so that we want many people to read it. All right. Shall I take a short break now, please? Can I? All right, so let me take a break. When I come back, we're going to touch screen to look at Liverpool. What's happening to the English football giant? They have won the Premier League 20 times. They are the English club to have won the Champions League more than any other one. They produce, for my generation, John Barnes and the striker. I just lost his name right now. Ian Rush and John Barnes and Stan Collymore. And there's some great players over the time. Also, in later generations, Michael Owen played for Liverpool. El Hadj Diouf played for Liverpool. Who else played for Liverpool? Cissé, yes, another Senegalese, isn't he? And then France. Oh, he's a Frenchman. Okay. Yeah. Many years ago, they had Bruce Gobler. Yeah. He's a Zimbabwean. He was goalkeeper for Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool has been a very, very great club. It's my second club in UK. My first, of course, is Manchester United. Glory, glory, Manchester United. Except that now Manchester United cannot sing 20 times anymore because Liverpool have also done the 20. We used to go to the Old Trafford and sing 20 times, Man United. Now we can't sing it anymore. But Liverpool are in trouble because they've been losing. They've lost 4 games, something like that. 5 games, I hear. Last Wednesday, they lost to Crystal Palace again. Crystal Palace have now beaten Liverpool 3 times, is it? This season. Why is it so? Will Ancelotti be fired? After the break, we go on a touch screen for the Liverpool conversation.
In respect of measurement audit for down.
what we are seeing appears to be a draft and that they want to consult on that draft. From what I have seen as a former information minister, this draft is dangerous, though it's not surprising. And let me explain why it's not surprising. It's not surprising because I think the president first announced it, that they are going to use the national security apparatus to go after people who make comments on social media that they consider, for whatever reason, whether it's under hate speech or it's under whatever, they consider it unfavorable. They're going to search for your IP addresses and then get the security apparatus to go after you. The president himself said it. So it's not surprising that his minister is now following up with a draft bill with such wild provisions in there. What is dangerous about it is that over the last set of decades, various countries have been moving away from criminalizing speech. There are other remedies for speech that may be deemed unfavorable, most of them civil, but not necessarily criminalizing it. Even the Criminal Libel and Sedition Act was repealed by the Kufuor administration. There are still remnants of laws that still seek to criminalize speech. For example, this law that is being used a lot, publication of false news, with intent of causing fear and panic, is one of those laws that actually still needs to be repealed. Instead of repealing that to advance, democratic freedoms, the government is now seeking through this draft that it wants to consult on to enact legislation that will now even ensure that when you put up a comment in your chat groups and they find it offensive according to their criteria, you could go to jail. And I think it's a very dangerous, encroachment into the area of free speech. The government needs to tread cautiously. I am hopeful that when the consultations start, the government will see wisdom in backtracking and ensuring that instead of rather seeking to further criminalize speech, even the remnant laws on criminalization of speech should be repealed.
It's really about semantics. See, extradition requires a lot of complex dealings. Why is it going through the Attorney General? It's because the Attorney General is the central authority when it comes to these things. In some matters, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is the central authority. So if the Attorney General was in the central authority and we could just go, we would have just gone. The Attorney General is not the only in the chain. When it goes through, it goes through our mission and it comes all the way back around to us because we initiated the process. It is unfortunate that there is talk about we have been asked for a docket and we have refused to give the docket and all. That is beside the point. That is not the issue at all. The issue is that you need to get it right the first time. You don't keep going back and forth. You need to get it right. The first responded to the Attorney General and we said that the docket is not yet boarded up. It's really about semantics. See, extradition requires a lot of complex dealings. Why is it going through the Attorney General? It's because the Attorney General is the central authority when it comes to these things. In some matters, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is the central authority. So if the Attorney General was in the central authority and we could just go, we would have just gone.
Welcome back to the show. It's time now to just join Ken on the touchscreen about Liverpool. What's happening to Liverpool?
A lot is going on. After spending a whopping sum of about £446.5 million sterling, Arne Slot is still complaining that he lacks players at the bench. That is, squad depth. And clearly, Liverpool was the team that did a lot of business when it comes to the summer transfer in 2025. This is the money they spent. Yes, they did a lot of business. They sold about 228.1 million, and then also added 218.4 million to it to get to this particular figure, bringing in Alexander Isak, Florent Veit, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kekic from Brentford, and so on and so forth. So clearly, you come to the table.
You haven't mentioned Ekitike.
Hugo Ekitike, sorry, from
yeah.
Eintracht Frankfurt. So you come to the squad depth by position from the EPL clubs, and you want to compare as to whether realistically Arne Slot, the manager for Liverpool, is making a lot of sense with his argument that he doesn't have squad depth. So you come here, you start from the goalkeeping. Now the goalkeeping, Liverpool's squad depth rank per goalkeeping, they are ranked 3rd in the EPL.
That means what?
It means that the clubs that have good bench, Liverpool is ranked 3rd in terms of goalkeeping.
For goalkeeping, okay.
For goalkeeping.
First, second, third.
Yes,
first, second.
Yes, 3rd. So Arsenal is 2nd. Yeah, Arsenal is 2nd with for goalkeeping. Now you come to centre back. Now for centre back, Liverpool is ranked 5th per squad depth.
That's not too good.
Exactly.
So what they have
and this sums up the reason why Liverpool is conceding.
They have what do you call it?
They have Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate. Then
both of them are very good players.
Yeah, they're very good. They are very good. But it looks like this season they are not having their good days. Then you have the English boy Joe Gomez.
But is it not actually better with centre backs to have a reliable two than to be changing them?
Yeah, the problem is within the season, it might not be the season for the two. Yes, it is very good. For example, like
stability.
For stability.
But if you look at the success of Alex Ferguson, Nemanja Vidic and Rio Ferdinand played for 4 or 5 seasons.
Exactly.
Same centre back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in this conversation, longevity also coming to play.
And they played together already.
Exactly.
Van Dijk
and Ibrahim Konate. Yes. You can make case for Arsenal because Arsenal, Gabriel Magalhaes, then William Saliba. For the past 3 seasons running, they've been very constant and they've delivered for Arsenal.
Also, centre back, you might need a reliable
two. But in this case, the two are not functioning properly this particular season.
Why? What's happening?
And it boils down to the midfield. We'll get there. We'll get there. So if we want us to finish the defense, this is the issue. You come here now. Your Jurgen Klopp's era. This is the preferable lineup for your Jurgen Klopp. He prefers to play 4-3-3 formation. Now with this 4-3-3 formation, you come here and then you check the 2019 UEFA Champions League final squad. Now in front of Virgil van Dijk, who is still available for Liverpool, Joel Matip, those days from Cameroon, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson is still part of the team. Then you come and then talk about in front of them, the people that have the prime duty of giving the defense that shield. You get Jordan Henderson.
He's gone.
He's gone.
I saw him in Sunderland.
No. Brentford. He plays for Brentford.
Yeah.
You get Fabinho from Brazil. Then Gigi Wijnaldum from Netherlands. These are players that are very combative. And on the field of play, their focus and everything is to make sure they give or provide a lot of cover for the defense. And that is the more reason why Liverpool's team wasn't conceding a lot of goals under Jurgen Klopp. But in the Arne Slot era, he has switched from the 4-3-3 to now a 4-2-3-1 formation.
But they won the title last season.
They won the title last season.
Yeah.
It is simply because he inherited a winning team already from Jurgen Klopp. He inherited a winning team from Jurgen Klopp. So the team Arne Slot inherited from Jurgen Klopp wasn't a bad team. So it makes a lot of sense.
But has that changed this season?
It has changed.
The team he inherited is gone. Okay, you don't have Trent.
You don't have Trent.
Who gave them a lot of attacking options
exactly.
from the right, yeah.
And Robertson is still part of the team, but he's not a starter.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
the left back.
Yes, the left back. He's not a starter for.
But does it mean that Jeremy Frimpong has not been able to replace Trent the way he should have?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for bringing in the conversation of Jeremy Frimpong. Now, Jeremy Frimpong, those of you who follow the German Bundesliga, now the unbeaten run of Bayer Leverkusen that have Jeremy Frimpong playing at the right side of defense, he was having what we call the wing back. His prime duty was a wing back for Bayer Leverkusen. which means that in attacking sequence, he now becomes an inverted midfielder. So he's more effective and efficient when his team is in an attacking sequence, other than defending. So defending is not very good. So in this case, if you watch the, how do you call it, the Arne Slot team, it means that Jeremy Frimpong, when Liverpool is in attacking sequence, he will give you everything that you need from Jeremy Frimpong. Now, in this case, a player has to come in, slot in as soon as possible.
Cover for him.
Exactly. If Liverpool is under threat.
Yeah.
And that is what Liverpool is missing. They don't have that player to do that. Now, Arne Slot found something in Ryan Gravenberch. So, in this case, the 4-2-3-1 formation, the two pivotal midfielders for Arne Slot era is Ryan Gravenberch and then walk up with Alexis McAllister. Ryan Gravenberch is injured.
Oh, I see.
So left alone Alexis McAllister to do all the job. So that is the more reason
who has replaced Gravenberch?
So Gravenberch, Curtis Jones is there. Curtis Jones, I don't trust him. So a fully fit Ryan Gravenberch is far more better.
For the Ghanaian purposes, does it mean therefore that perhaps Mohamed Kudus should have taken the Liverpool? Will he be going to a crowded space? Or would he be definitely needed?
I think Kudus is a better player than Cody Gakpo. Because
that's debatable.
No, it's not.
But are they the same kind of player?
They are.
Cody Gakpo is a striker.
It's a winger, attacking forward. Yeah.
No, but
Kudus is an attacker.
Kudus is like number 10.
Yeah, Kudus is number 10, but when you go to the club side, he plays more as an attacker, like from the wing play.
Yeah, Kudus can play what Frank Lampard plays.
Yes.
But Cody Gakpo cannot do Frank Lampard.
Yes, but Kudus, operates more better from the flanks.
Yes, he does.
Than doing it through the midfield.
Through the middle, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't want that crowd space.
Yeah,
he always wants open
free
space,
space,
free space to run.
Yeah.
So that is Mohamed Kudus for you.
Okay, so if Kudus comes into the Liverpool team, Gakpo would have to sit on the
exactly. So you have Kudus on
so
the
Kudus
other
doesn't
side.
solve the Liverpool problem.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't. Probably you will need a more combative, defender. That is defensive midfielder.
That's what they are looking for.
Exactly. To
a
give
real DM.
Exactly. So in this
case,
like
a Michael Essien.
Michael Essien, yes,
right.
right.
They get a Michael Essien.
They would need some type of Sule Muntari because you need
He's
somebody.
not a defender.
No, he's not. But he's very combative.
Okay.
And aggressive.
Yeah.
And Liverpool's
or like
defense,
a Kevin Prince Boateng.
Kevin Prince Boateng.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So Liverpool's defense is exposed not simply because Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate are not good, but it is because they are not
lacking cover.
Yes. They are not getting that kind of cover.
They're overexposed.
Exactly.
But I watched the Liverpool and United game several times, and I thought that United were lucky on the occasion.
They were.
If you look at the way Liverpool went into the post, it's not so much an onslaught, lack of strategy or lack of quality problem. They were just unlucky on that occasion.
Exactly.
I saw the game yesterday, which we can't really, on Wednesday, which we can't really rate because there were a lot of changes in the team. But if you look at the last league game, then you see the problem.
Brentford.
They are now at home at Anfield on Saturday to Aston Villa. How do you see that?
A very difficult game for Liverpool because all the games Liverpool have conceded, clearly you can see that they look vulnerable when the team is under attack. Liverpool will have more players when the team is attacking. Now you can talk about the experiences of Mohamed Salah. Hugo Ekitike has been doing very good for the team. Not recently, but when he started, he hits the ground running. Then Alexander Ishak's situation is quite different because he didn't do preseason at all before he came to Liverpool. So he's to some extent.
But they can't play here and Ekitike in the same team.
No.
So why do they spend so much money?
They are the same
then
profile
they
of players.
Spend so much money to buy the same profile of player when they cannot complement each other.
That is where the conversation lies. So who was the first target for Arne Slot? Was it Hugo Ekitike? Or was it
Ekitike was in the preseason.
He was.
Yeah.
He was in the
preseason. So the preseason have pursued the Isak agenda and brought in a midfielder. What about Szoboszlai? You think he's too forward-minded?
Szoboszlai is too forward-minded. So in the 4-3-3, you will see Szoboszlai probably around the number 10 role. That is where he plays better. He's not a defensive-minded player. Again, So now the problem is if Ryan Gravenberch is going to stay out for long, then it means there is a problem for Liverpool.
So they have to go to the market in January.
Exactly, in January.
But was it not the same Liverpool that beat Arsenal? Great, powerful game, Szoboszlai's free kick, stupendous one. They won the game.
So you look at that particular squad, and then you talk about the availability of Gravenberch and then McAllister, together with Domis Szoboszlai. These are players that played under Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp bought them. So he knows them very much. And then they played under Jurgen Klopp before Arne Slot took over. So it made the thing very easy for Arne Slot. But in this case, there is no Gravenberch. So he has left the gap. And Arne Slot is finding it difficult to get someone to complement Alexis McAllister, to give the defense the kind of cover that they need.
So you are saying, as a sports reporter, that Liverpool's problems are not over?
No, it's not over.
So they could have difficulty at the weekend?
Until the goalkeeper comes back.
Goalkeeper?
Yes, because they are ranked third in terms of squad depth for goalkeepers. And that is the more reason why sometimes I feel like they shouldn't have allowed Kelleher to leave. Yes.
But I also saw some miscues from Mohamed Salah in the Man United game, which was quite unusual. Is he going down the hill?
He is not. But just that, he's not also getting the support that he had been enjoying from Trent Alexander-Arnold, because their partnership worked perfectly for Liverpool. Yes, Arnold was a very good footballer for Liverpool. So
what's your gut feeling on Saturday at Anfield?
Well, it's most likely Liverpool will concede. I don't know how they will, be able to put themselves together to defensively defend against Aston Villa, because they have, stubborn players. Oli Watkins, you can name them. They have good and quality players up front.
And they have a good coach.
Yeah, good coach as well.
He knows Liverpool very well.
He has coached Sevilla for several times, winning Europa. He's called Mr. Europa League because of his dominance in the Europa League. He has coached Paris Saint-Germain. He has coached Arsenal. This is not the first time coaching the Premier League clubs or Premier League clubs. So he understands what is, being done in the Premiership. So I think that coming face to face, and again, I have problem because I know for a fact that the top hierarchy of Liverpool team knows for a fact that they are dealing with a work in progress manager.
Wow.
Yeah.
A manager who's won the title.
No. Before winning the title, what was his track record?
But he won the title.
Yes, exactly. But before winning the title,
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't win the title. Jose Mourinho didn't win with Manchester United when he came in. But you have all the big names that came in.
I agree. But if you are in competition with the likes of Pep Guardiola, if you come face to face against clubs that are being coached by the likes of Unai Emery, what you can say about Unai Emery, the experiences he has acquired coaching at the top level of European football.
Say the same for Slot. So Slot's title last season was borrowed from Klopp.
Exactly. And like I said, he inherited a very good team from Jurgen Klopp. Nobody can have run away from that. Because the only player he brought in was Federico Chiesa. At that time, he was even injured. He brought only one player last season. That is Federico Chiesa.
What about Manchester United? Do you think their run is going to continue? Is it a fluke? Is it luck? What is happening? And they have African Cup of Nations coming up. Mbeumo is going to leave. The young man, Amad Diallo is going to leave. So what do you foresee for Manchester United? They are now talking about challenging for the title.
Well, I think Man United, for where I sit, they've gotten some sort of motivation for what they've done for some time now. Yes, I don't think their problems are over because they are now moving a step one at a time. And as they climb the ladder, the competition becomes tougher. City, they've not gotten that kind of grip that they want to as compared to the other clubs.
But Rodri is back in training.
Rodri is back. They didn't start well in the Premiership, same as Liverpool. All these teams are struggling. And in football,
Liverpool actually started well. They won the first 5 games.
They started well, but they are now struggling.
Very much,
what I mean is that it's still early stages of the season. We are going about 38 matches.
We have 9 gone.
We've done 9. So we still have more games to go.
Does it look like Arsenal for this season, finally?
This is not the first time we are seeing Arsenal performing very well in early stages of the season. Don't forget that for the past 2 seasons, they've come very close of winning the
they've led the table for the past 2 seasons.
Exactly.
And bottled it at the
end. And the problem with Arsenal has always got to do with the fact that when we get to the defining moment of the football season,
March,
that is where Arsenal flatter to deceive.
Flatter to deceive?
Yes. So at this stage, you will see them play. Oh, Arsenal, we win. Oh, we have players. So
but if Arsenal doesn't win the title this season, who's going to win it? Because Liverpool are shaky. Man City, we have to look at how Rodri comes back into the team and how it works. Manchester United, nobody's betting on them yet until maybe the end of the first round if they are still doing well. Honestly speaking, even the league that Liverpool won last season, they weren't favourite. Yeah, they were not. No. They weren't favourite, but they won. It was Arsenal. Exactly. It was Arsenal. You remember the season that Jurgen Klopp went toe-to-toe with Pep Guardiola? Mm-hmm. It was only one point, and the last game of the season that decided the league title for Manchester City. Yeah. So it means that still the EPL conversation of who is going to win is still open. Nobody can predict. What about the new entrants, Sunderland? Sunderland are doing very good. Bournemouth. They are doing very well. Are they going to maintain it, or is just I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, we said that about Leicester City 4 seasons ago, and they went on to win. And they went on to, yes, they started very well. Yes, even at the second round of the season, people didn't give them the chance to win the EPL, but eventually they won the EPL. But those are one of the surprises in football. From nowhere, then one team will just bang in and then come and. Let's talk about Ghana and the World Cup. Should if Antoine Semenyo gets a call up in January from Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, or Manchester City, should he go? The World Cup is 6 months down the line. Ghana is going to rely on him at the World Cup. He's playing very well for Bournemouth. Bournemouth are on the rise. They are second on the table or something like that. If January transfer comes in, Real Madrid come calling, Antoine Semenyo come and join us. Should he go, or should he focus on Bournemouth, take Ghana to the World Cup, do well at the World Cup, and look for the summer season? To my view, I mean, any move by Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth would distract him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would distract him, no matter the amount of money is involved or which club is. And more importantly, towards the World Cup. Towards the World Cup. He must focus on the World Cup. Focus on the World Cup. And do very well. Do very well. That's all. That's all. And then he'll get he's doing pretty well in the EPL. At the summer. Yes. Yeah, he's doing pretty well in the EPL. Yeah. You can't take it away from him. But the calls have started coming. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So I don't think that moving away from Bournemouth will help, especially the World Cup getting very close. What about Mohamed Kudus? If in January Real Madrid come calling or Barcelona come calling, should he go? With Kudus' situation, he has shown time without numbers that look, when it comes to Black Stars, it's a different conversation. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kudus can move from this team today to another team. When it comes to the Black Stars, it won't affect him. No. He will deliver. His focus is stronger. Very, very, very strong. So if Kudus get the opportunity, you go to Real Madrid. He should go. He should go. Yeah, and it will help Ghana at the World Cup. Exactly, it will help. It will help. Thank you very much. That's interesting. We'll look at the Premier League season on Saturday and see how it goes. Yeah. Let's take text messages and then we'll see. We'll come back. We'll come back to Fatih. What are people saying?
All right. Thank you, Paul. So this is coming from Brokiro, and he says, "How can you play Kudus on the left wing? Kudus won't fit into Liverpool's squad. If you want to play him on the wings, he must unseat Mo Salah, which he can't." Master Planner Jr. says this sports analysis speaks with passion. He uses the football terminologies accurately. Good evening, Ghana. Everything they inside. Answer.
Okay. Coming from Kofi Jemfi, says Paul, do you have a digital format for your book? If not, I suggest you do the digital format so that those of us who can't read it from our screens can also buy them. Coming from Yusuf, he says, you promised giving me one of the books. I'm still waiting for you, Paul. Over to you, Paul.
I'm enjoying the text messages I'm getting from the America and Britain. People are talking about the book and they are very happy about it. I'm waiting for Alhassan Bello. Forgive us, it's Thursday, so we are taking liberties. It's past 11, but we are still here. Bello is coming to tell us what's happening in Nigeria. He will get in very soon, and then we deal with it. Meanwhile, let's watch the Parliament video again. I hope they find it. The Parliament, not the tornado one, the other one. The two videos that came today, the other one from Parliament with the Speaker. And Alban Bagbin, at that time, he was the leader of the minority. Let's see that just as we wait for Alhassan Bello to mount the touch screen to tell us the latest security situation in Nigeria. Let's look at that.
It will be the turn of
Honorable Leader of the House,
the Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for presiding over the proceedings so successfully.
Majority Leader is to make a statement.
To adjourn at this stage. With your permission, could I move that the House do not adjourn till 10 o'clock in the forenoon tomorrow morning? Thank you.
Mr. J.H. Mensah, Minister and Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion, but we want to add that
statement from
we would have preferred that an indication is given as to when the debate will commence.
So we are ready.
We are ready.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Order. The Honorable.
We are ready to commence now.
Shame. Honorable members, as I indicated, today is a purely ceremonial occasion. So today is not part of our normal business operation.
We want the debate now.
I'd like to hear from you, from the Leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. On a similar occasion, when we wanted to debate immediately the address of His Excellency President Jerry Rawlings, my friends opposite demurred and asked for time. Mr. Speaker, we indeed are quite ready to debate because we know the content of the message, but they don't. And
positive change.
We will, Mr. Speaker, we will give them time to receive the text of the President's message and study it carefully, and then we can start the debates perhaps on Tuesday. The Business Committee will determine the matter when it meets tomorrow morning at 9:30 in my office. Thank you very much.
That was the Majority Leader, J.H. Mensah.
Very well. So be it. Leader of the House.
The Speaker's statement.
Has he moved? Has he moved for adjournment? Honorable members, the question is that this House do now adjourn to tomorrow at 10 in the morning. As many as in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
So the Speaker
The ayes have it.
announcing the adjournment of the House to
this House is adjourned
the following day,
to tomorrow morning at 10.
and they will convene tomorrow.
We call for a division.
10 a.m. after listening to the State of the Nation and to be the turn of
Honorable Leader of the House.
the Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Very interesting. Now, Alhassan Bello has information for us, and let's get on to the touch screen and deal with it. So, the coup rumors was true.
Yeah, it was true now, and then the details are now being released gradually.
So, tell us about it.
It looks more like a northern coup, for lack of a better word, because it's mostly orchestrated by northern elements. And these are some of them in the state distribution.
So what did the statement say? What did the Aso Rock statement say? Did it say that these generals were involved in a coup plot?
Yeah.
It said so? Oh, wow.
No, it was like military officers, and mostly a brigadier general and some colonels.
Tell us who they are.
So this is Colonel M.A. Maji from Niger State, and then Lieutenant Colonel S. Bapa from Bauchi State.
Oh, but these are not generals. So these are not military?
But the lead architect is a general.
So these are not like Army commander, Navy commander, Air Force commander, those who were changed.
No.
This is not them.
Yeah, okay. So he's a General Sadiq.
Okay, so let me get what they were doing in the army. So this is Colonel Maji. What was he doing? Was he a commander of something?
I think their positions have not been actually released.
Okay, so
but the names were released.
So Maji is from Niger State.
Yeah,
that's south.
Which is the North Central State.
Okay, North Central.
Yeah,
and then Lieutenant Colonel. Oh, the rank of Lieutenant Colonel.
Yeah,
that's a young man.
Bauchi State. Bauchi State is, I think, northeast, if I'm not mistaken.
And another Lieutenant Colonel Hayatu
from Kaduna State, northwest.
Okay.
And the Lieutenant Colonel B. Dangnap, Plateau State, another north central state. And then
he was previously court-martialed in 2015 over alleged misconduct during the Boko Haram. Okay.
Another Lieutenant Colonel Emi Al-Makura, also from Nasarawa State, a north central state. And then Major A.J. Ibrahim from Gombe State, another northeastern state. It looked largely like a northern coup d'etat. And it's led by Brigadier General Sadiq. He seemed to be the lead architect of the coup. And then if you also look at the previous, initially when Tinubu came into office, these were his appointees. And then Nuhu Ribadu was the NSA. And then CJ Musa, the current outgone chief of defense staff, was called a Nordina. And then the chief of air staff, another Nordina. So initially you could see that Northerners hold a strategic position within the...
But the question is, if the list of the coups were these colonels and lieutenant colonels, why have these generals been removed? Is it because there's suspicion of connivance or something like that?
So the grievances of the North could be two. You know, when it comes to military facility and installation, historically it has always been concentrated in the North, and particularly Kaduna State. So Kaduna State is seen to be the military capital of Nigeria, for lack of a better word. But then recently, all military recruitment and training takes place in Kaduna, Nigerian Army Depot, Kaduna State. But recently, under Tinubu's watch, there was a new depot that was opened, I think, is it Oshogbo, if I'm not mistaken, in southwest. So it looks like for the North, probably a perception that Tinubu is trying to water down their grip on monopoly over military institution. And then also, if you look at the hardship, there's a general hardship across Nigeria. But because of the underlying socioeconomic situation in the North, it bites more in the North than in southern part of Nigeria, let's say the southwest or the southeast. And that could also be another, what do you call it, a reason for this discomfort. And then also, if you look at some of the Tinubu's appointment and some of his policies, there are those who feel like the Lagos cabals have monopolized power, as they call them, the Lagos boys, have monopolized power. And that is okay, what is also discomforting some northern elites. And so...
I see. So like a reset of sorts.
It's more like has to do with the ongoing realignment for 2027 election. If you look at also another recent issue of what the Northerners perceive to be sidelining of the, what do you call it, the vice president. You remember when APC met in Borno State and unanimously endorsed Tinubu as its candidate? The endorsement was done without the name of the VP.
So it's not clear whether he will be retained as VP.
Whether he will be retained as VP or not. Kashim Shettima. And so there are reasons why the North might be concerned or alarmed at some of Tinubu's policies.
And also the departure of the key guy to join the others.
Yeah.
And
then also you look at the historic or the sideline of this guy, Nasir El-Rufai. So the North has one or two reasons why it might be concerned about Tinubu's policy from either an economic point of view, from a political perspective, as well as some military, what do you call it, realignment and deployment here and there. But then interestingly though, in as much as he has taken away the, what do you call it, the CDS from the North, he has also made an appointment from the North, which is, I think, the Chief of Air Staff, if I'm not mistaken, who is a Northerner. No, Chief of Naval Staff, rather. He's a Northerner. And then he has maintained Nuhu Ribadu, under Northerner. And then I think Tinubu is perhaps trying to learn from history. There was this Nigerian author, Max Yolun, in his analysis of the 1966 coup, said Yunus's biggest mistake was his attempt to build trust and confidence with the North, where he mistakenly or strategically surrounded himself with Northerners. Mind you, Tiwa Yakubu Danjuma, Jobless Danjuma, was something he said of security at the time, who was supposed to protect Yunus, but he was also involved in the coup. He led the team that arrested Yunus in Ibadan when he was with Colonel Fajui. Likewise, he made Hassan Kassina, was he his chief of staff or so? And so people felt like it was this strategic position he placed the North at the time that allowed them to strike him. That may be a reason why Tinubu is now trying to realign and, what do you call it, get some Northerners he perceived might be disloyal to him out of way. So like we said back on Tuesday, if the coup is indeed a coup, or an attempted coup, then fine, it is better that it hasn't taken place. Because imagine if it has taken place, right? And these are the two architects. So this is the General, what do you call it? Brigadier General Sadiq. Ably assisted by Emi Maji, Colonel Emi Maji. These are the two architects of the coup, allegedly. So imagine if this coup had succeeded. Looking at these people, it would have seemed to be a northern coup. And that also have created a problem because Buhari just left office, an ordinary. Now you coming to do a coup. It's like you trying to, what do you call it, monopolize points and everybody. That will have created an ethnic tension. And if it's just an attempt to strengthen the current government hands going into election, then it's a master stroke.
You made that point. Okay, we'll look at this. We'll look at it. Keep an eye on Nigeria for us as time goes on. Let me take one text message each, a goodbye text message, and then we'll be wrapping up on Good Evening Ghana. All the stories will be on our social media page. So, Anziba, what are they saying?
Thank you very much, Paul. Coming from Prince, he says, our Hassan Bello is a boss in international news. And from Yao February, he says, excellent analysis. Over to you, Fatih.
All right, thank you, Anziba. So, coming from Kofi Jemfi, he says, tell your guy that Arsenal will win this season because they have a strong bench now, which was not so the last season. And lastly, coming from Umaro Mohammed, he says the OSP has succeeded in nailing the Attorney General as a potential future candidate for the investigation and prosecution, especially so as he has indicated that he was the one behind his first house, which was built as to where. But where are the rest of the house belonging to the Attorney General cited in this country? Now back to you, Paul.
That's it for the show. Thanks for watching and good night.
By praying and giving and so on. Hallelujah. Christianity is the outworking of God's own kind of life received into the spirit of a man. Whoa! This divine life in the heart of a man makes him righteous. It keeps him healthy, divinely guided in life, prosperous and victorious. It gives you the ability to enjoy intimate fellowship with the Father and have dominion on this earth. Hallelujah.
Wow, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I want to especially welcome you to today's NCC Hub, and I want to thank my ministers of God for this uncommon privilege to host today's special session of the NCC Hub. I have a special guest with me today who is going to orient us on how to make the most of what our Father Yahweh has for us during this year's New Creation Conference. If you're ready, let's share in a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you that you make all things beautiful. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray with thanksgiving. Amen. So as I mentioned, I have a special guest with me. He is a highly esteemed senior pastor of the New Creatures Fellowship. He's